What's going on, you guys? It's me, Ryan Hunt, here for another awesome Minecraft video. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of a renewal of what exactly I've been doing on this server. Now, if you look back onto my videos, you might notice it's been a little bit since I've been on and I've been active. I got super busy with school, work, and a bunch of just life in general, so I didn't really have time to really work on Minecraft and recording videos. Well, I decided that now is as good of a time as ever to pick it back up again. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of what my builds look like now and kind of what my bases look like, what we're working on, and what kind of the vision for the future is going to be. Now, the cool thing about this is I hope that I can start to be a little bit more active on this YouTube channel. I hope to be probably making videos, at least a video every week. They won't all be Minecraft videos, but there'll be different games and things that I enjoy doing while I play games. Overall, I don't really plan on getting famous or making a ton of money off of Minecraft or any type of videos, really. But it's simply a time where I can just relax, unwind after the day, kind of chill. And so that's kind of my focus for this whole entire YouTube channel. It's just to be a place where I can take my shoes off, relax, have fun hanging out with friends, and playing some awesome games. Now, we're almost to our base. And there's been a lot of change since the last time I was on. A lot of things have changed with my base. In fact, that I kind of altered it completely since the last time I was on. You see, our base is kind of split into two different sections. The Serato Corp, which is an organization that's going to be on our left right here. And then there's the Kingdom of Alaris, which is more of a fantasy type of building style. Now, we can probably start here, but before it gets too late, I probably need to go to bed. So I'll probably take a sleep, and then we'll hop into walking through Serato Corp. What the vision is, what the dream is, and kind of what a little bit of the story or lore is for the build. So, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So now that I'm back and we've slept a little bit so nothing spawns up here while we're walking around, I thought I'd introduce you to Serato Corp. Now, Serato Corp is this organization that kind of focuses on taking everything they can out of the environment around them. As you can tell, it's a very gray, gloomy area because through the power of the obelisk and just their industrial work, they've sucked a lot of the life out of the area. And we've got a lot of different farms in this little region as well. So right here, this is our amazing, super simple sugarcane farm. And this gives us a ton of sugarcane. For a while, I didn't have any source of sugarcane at all. And so I was having to buy all my rockets, which got pretty expensive pretty quick. But now I have this amazing farm that really makes it so I never have to buy any ever again. Now, eventually this right here is going to be the home of our cactus farm. I just haven't built it yet. We'll probably have a video soon of building a cactus farm and putting it here so that we can have access to green dye. As you see, I already have a chest over here that has a lot of cactus in it from a previous cactus farm I had that I'm moving to here instead. Now, right over here, we kind of walked past it earlier. You might guess what it is when we get to the front based upon the face that's on it. But this is our amazing sheep farm, or a wool farm to be specific. I am thinking for this area, this kind of quadrant will be full of farms. It's going to be full of things that, like, there's going to be a chicken farm down there. There's a wool farm here, and I might have a few other farms in this region as well. But this farm, it gives us all the wool we could possibly want. Now, I don't have every color here, but I have a lot of them. And to be honest, I rarely ever need every color wool. Wool is usually just what I use to kind of lay out the general idea for my builds. This right here is our obelisk. Now, this took me a while to build, embarrassingly. I built it like 3 times, had to destroy it and then build it again. But kind of the idea is that they have all of these magical items located around here that's kind of draining the magic out of Alaris. And so everything that's happening here is kind of taking away the magic and beauty that we'll see in our other kingdom, the kingdom of, I'm sorry, the kingdom of Alaris. The kingdom of Cerrado has kind of drained all the magic out. Right over here, this is our iron farm. And it's supposed to look kind of like a big factory. Eventually, I plan to have like something that looks like iron coming out of the ground, moving around, that kind of stuff. But right now, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's not a great iron farm, but it's a functioning iron farm, if you know what I mean. So pretty much these zombies are pretty much always aggravating these villagers, which makes an iron golem spawn, go down the water, and get burned alive. And it's the same thing right over here. And so then it comes up the water, across here, into this copper, which he then sorts. It goes up to the top. Here is our iron ingots, which goes into an auto crafter and comes out as blocks of iron. And then over here, we have a simple area where he can put poppies, which goes through a composter and gets turned into bone blocks. I just used a lot of my bone blocks for some bone meal that I needed in Alaris. Now this right here, this is our mob farm. And I'm super excited and happy with how this turned out because it gives us a ton of resources. Bones, string, gunpowder, rotten flesh, which on the server I can convert into leather by running it through a furnace. Arrows, I'm one of those people, I don't do an infinity bow. I do a mending bow just because I hate getting enchantments when things break. And I use my bow quite frequently. With that being said, I think I need to put some arrows into my inventory. But yeah, so I use my bow a lot, so it seems worth it for me. And over here I got some more gunpowder because, to be honest, you can never be collecting too much gunpowder. And now this farm, it works pretty much how most mob farms work. There's a clock on the top that releases water. I'm too close right now for any mobs to be spawning. But then these down here that have the trapdoors on top, they will only ever spawn creepers because creepers are just less than 2 blocks, meaning the trapdoors allow them to spawn but prevent things like skeletons and zombies from spawning. But pretty much what happens is they spawn on these platforms when I'm up on the top of the cooling tower, and then the water activates, pushing them down here into this kill chamber. Now this kill chamber isn't perfect, as you can see. There's spiders. They're a little bit harder to kill. And ideally, I could make this become a spider-proof area, but then I would never get any string out of it, which now that I have a wool farm and I can craft string from wool, I don't really need. But I enjoy having it as an available option. And so this up here is where I have to hang out whenever I'm going AFK. This puts me far enough away that mobs can spawn on the platforms, because if you're too close, your mobs won't be able to spawn. And so out of here, we come right across here. This is, for the most part, what we have in Cerrado Corp. The only other things we have are kind of some storage containers that we have over here. Some storage buildings. These buildings over here house a lot of redstone, ore, rocks, this kind of stuff over here. Lodestones, amber, glass, quartz. All of my lighting stuff is here. All of kind of my like weird blocks that don't quite fit into everything else. So I got prismarine, sea lanterns, obsidian. If you come up here, this level is completely devoted to redstone. So all of my redstone and redstone related blocks are up here. So I've got pretty much anything you could want redstone wise are in these barrels. And they are in barrels just because I like the way barrels work. There's no real reasoning behind that at all. This over here is going to be where most of our rocks are located. This is a very simple copper golem sorting system. I plan on making this a little bit more efficient in the future. Right now it's not super efficient, but it gets the job done. It works. And I don't know if you saw it or not. Let me go back down to make sure you see what our amazing copper golems look like. Look at that. He's wearing a tuxedo. It's pretty great. I love it so much. I also have up here a lot of the blocks I use in Serato, kind of the color palette of the concrete and all of that. It all fits up here. Got black concrete right here. We've got gray concrete and dark gray, or light gray and dark gray concrete, bricks, all of that kind of stuff can be found here in this sorting room. Now, a lot of people will make big sorting rooms where they can kind of put everything, and originally that's what I had, but I found one, I hated making so many filters in one area. I just got tired of doing it. I never finished. It was annoying. It didn't feel like I was ever going to catch up and have where everything could be sorted. So instead, what I decided to do is instead to have little areas throughout my base where different things would be sorted into different areas. And so we'll see some of that when we get over to Alaris, but these two buildings here are examples of that, where I can fly around my base pretty easily. I have an elytra, I have fireworks. I also have access to waystones, which is a teleportation thing that we use on this server that allows me to get to and from around the server pretty easily. And so for the most part, like, there's not a worry of, man, it's going to take me forever to get these resources because they're somewhere else in my base. But it allows me to interact with my base as a whole instead of just going to one sorting room over and over. Now, this is kind of our last thing in Serato Corp right down here. This is eventually where our super smelter is going to be. It's kind of crazy that I've been on this server this long and I don't have a good smelting way of smelting right now. I kind of just have a long line of them over in Alaris. And so I need to make that a little bit more efficient. The last thing I'll show you here is I'm trying to build a lot of just kind of atmospheric builds too. Things that don't necessarily have a specific use. Like this right over here. This is not my base. This is Red. He helps run the server. But this right here, there's nothing I get out of this build right here other than the fact that I think it looks awesome. So it's supposed to be like a kind of an area, a little bit of storytelling of how how Serato is kind of poisoning the environment around them. So you can see like the water's green, there's a sludge coming out of this pipe here and it's killing all of the different things. These are all different things that you can find and get from mobs in the water. And so like even like it's killing the drowned and all of those zombies too, just because it's so toxic and it's so bad. And eventually, I haven't finished it, this is going to go away, and eventually this will all be giant stone all the way around. This bridge is going to be going away relatively soon, along with that giant tree right there. That was a part of a project I was doing a while ago, and I've just kind of decided just to go in a different direction from it with all of my builds. So real quick, I'm going to sleep. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Let's see if I can sleep over here. There we go. I'm going to sleep, and then I'll catch you over in Alaris. And good morning. We are back, and it is time for me to show you the amazing kingdom of Alaris. Now, this right here is actually one of my close friends, Matt's base over here. And it is truly exquisite. You should really go watch his video, Big Matt 27, and his video of just showing you around his base. He is a fantastic builder and great storyteller. So I would greatly encourage you. He actually did all of this terrain right here. This is not natural terrain. As you can see, we are building a giant lake behind this dam. This dam, it took me a while to build, but I really like it. I think it's really cool looking. But it's kind of going to be like a connector between our two bases. Eventually, I'm imagining a road will come down here from the main road. And you can see he's done a fantastic job with his nice slope, and that's as far as I've got, because I've done a ton of terraforming, and we started this project right after I terraformed all of these cliffs, and I finished doing a large portion of this, and I literally was like, I just need a break from terraforming for a little bit. I need to do something fun. So this is the Kingdom of Alaris. Now, the Kingdom of Alaris is broken into multiple districts based upon the gates. And so this is our first district, or the Mahogany Gate. And now this gate right here is going to be kind of an Asian-inspired area. And it'll stretch all the way from where that green wool is right there, where the garden gate will be, all the way across the beach area, and then up to where that big gate over there is. And this is going to be mainly just a Chinese and Asian inspired area. There's going to be like a market area. There might be like a temple into the cliffside. I'm really not entirely sure. I kind of just created this area and kind of figured out what I wanted it to be about a week or two ago. I've been mainly focusing on our area right over here, which is our agriculture or mud district. I haven't figured out exactly what I want to call it. So if you guys have any cool ideas for it once we look at it, drop those down in the comments below. I'm pretty excited about it. This has probably been one of my favorite things that I've built, which is really weird because it's not like anything super complicated. It was pretty easy to build. But this idea over here is this is where all of our food comes from for the kingdom. And so they have all sorts of things. This right here is our Mason's Hall. And eventually I'm going to do the interior, I promise. One thing about me, I hate doing interiors. And so they're usually one of the last things I do. But this right here is our Mason's Hall. So we actually sell a lot of Mason products here on the server. And also use a lot of Mason products on the server. And so I kind of have a little Mason Hall here where I can get all of my resources. A lot of these guys, as you can see, are not leveled up. A lot of my Masons died tragically in a zombie attack. And so I have like 3 masters and a bunch of novices that I got to get leveled back up so I can start restocking and using their stuff. Also over here, this is something that I never thought I would build, but it's actually a super helpful and useful thing. And that's just a stone generator. I personally despise mining. It's my least favorite part of the game, but I can just sit here for a little bit, not even very long, and then I can just open this right up here, and I have plenty of stone. Now, obviously, that was not all from what just occurred, but it doesn't take me very long at all to get stone from this, and I use a lot of stone in my builds, if you can't tell, with all of the cliffs that I've been building and all of that, so it's pretty nice having that. This right here, each of the pathway little sections, I decided to have like a different type of vegetation present. So we got this new dried grass, I think is what it's called, which I really love the look of. It looks super cool. And then right here we got grass. We have these, which make it look, the firefly bushes, which make it look fantastic in here during the nighttime. It just looks legendary with the amount of fireflies that spawn because of these bushes. We have our wheat fields. And then in here, actually, if you walk in here, this is actually an automatic wheat farm that I have created kind of by myself. I watched a few videos on like how to make them and kind of combined a lot of aspects together in the creation of this one. So if you look down here, it's pretty easy. These guys, they harvest and their inventory gets filled up with seeds from harvesting and planting so often, and because the seeds cycle back through. And so eventually what happens is they don't pick up the wheat, and the wheat goes through these hopper systems down here all the way over here to this cute little guy right here who is sorting into 2 different chests. One of them is seeds that feeds back into the farm, and this one over here is wheat, which goes up a water system that's hidden right behind this wall and feeds into a sorter right here of just wheat. As you can tell, I've AFK'd here quite frequently. I am known for AFKing over wheat and carrots a lot because wheat is used in making a lot of mud, and I've been using a lot of mud for these builds. Right through here, this area right here, there's nothing here yet, but I'm going to build like a cute little well here. So probably in a future episode, we'll be working in the agriculture district, building our last of these windmills right over here, along with building a potato or carrot farm underneath it. And we'll probably have a short little break of building this well in that video as well. Right over here we have some cute beetroots and some carrots, kind of just to symbolize that this is like the agriculture area, and we got potatoes up here as well. This is where everything that Alaris consumes is grown. So this right here is going to be another one of these towers that we have right here, these windmills, kind of the source of magical energy, kind of a wind punk kind of vibe is what I was going for. And then there will be a potato farm underneath this one. There will eventually be a carrot farm underneath that one. That farm's actually a lot easier to build than the wheat farm is. I just haven't had time to really sit down and build those because I don't like redstone. Even though it's a really easy farm to build, if I can do something besides redstone, I will always choose to do something else. And of course, it's going to start raining. Um, this right here is kind of like, it's supposed to be like a winery area. So this is like grapevines over here growing. And then we have like hops right over here where they would grow. Um, yeah. And so the idea is like this is where everything that they consume in Alaris, their exports, everything is grown in the agriculture district. And then the final kind of thing in this, you can see because it's raining, the fireflies are coming out. But also right over here is our lighthouse. So this lighthouse helps to prevent anyone from getting stuck on the rocky shores of Serato or Alaris. And we have our awesome Willionette. That's her name right there. Of course, she's hiding from me for some reason right now. But we have a resource pack, if you haven't caught it, that makes villagers look like actual people instead of just the weird village people. And so we have this cute little sink that took me forever to figure out. I saw it on Instagram, and they didn't show you how to make it. They just kind of showed you a picture of it. And so it took me a while, but we have a cute little interior here for Willionette. Eventually we'll have up here, I plan to do an interior that would be similar to how you would like control the light on the top. Because that's kind of Willionette's job. She's the lighthouse person. And so she makes sure the lighthouse is running and protecting people who are going up and down the river from getting stuck on the rocks that are very prominent in this area. With that being said, that's about all of our agriculture district for Alaris, which kind of leads us into our next area, which is the Sandstone or the Noble District. Now, this district up here is going to be where pretty much all of the, like, my house is going to be. There's going to be a library up here eventually. All of, like, the finer things in life will be up here in this district. And so we have a few things up here. This is one of our great trees. When I was first building Alaris, I had this idea that there would be, like, these giant trees that would be, like, the sources of magic in the world. And so that's still kind of true. This tree grants resistance and regeneration. AKA there's a beacon like all the way down at the bottom. But it's just this cool custom tree that I designed myself and built that I really, really like. I think it's a fun little tree that kind of catches the vibe of like nature and chill. Eventually, I think I'm going to build a bunch of giant trees that are going to kind of have a canopy over, just giant in height, not necessarily in size like that guy over there, but just very tall trees that can kind of put a canopy over the entire Sandstone district. This over here is another one of our storage rooms. So this is kind of like our not sure why this arrow is in there. There shouldn't be. But this is kind of our all things wood and kind of just Alaris themed storage room. And so there's a lot of different types of trees, different types of leaves. We have a ton of azaleas because I sell moss, azaleas, and all that stuff in the district. Ignore that. That was some casualties that occurred. But pretty much this is where we store all of our wood and wood-related products. And then as you can see, there's this cute little stump, which I really love, with all these like mushrooms sticking off of it. I absolutely love mushrooms. They're not animals, so I can't say they're my favorite animal, but like they're one of my favorite living things. Fungi are just so cool. And so I really liked building these little mushrooms. And I tried to like look in nature and see what mushrooms actually look like and what they would look like, the ones that would grow on a stump. And so then I kind of just put those on this stump here. And so you can see there's some growing on the top that have like more of like a capped top, while there's some on the sides that have more of a gradual, like a step look that grow on trees and stuff like that. Now this over here is kind of my base operations currently because I don't really have a house. But it's where I do a lot of my furnace stuff. You can see I have a ton of shulkers just kind of scattered around that have a bunch of different stuff in them. I have an enchanting table here, which is where we have the ability to bottle our XP and save it in case you die. And so I actually sell bottled XP on the server. And so I bottle a ton of XP here, which is why I need these because I make a ton of glass on the server. This right here is our greenhouse. Now this was one of my favorite builds I've built. I built another like kind of giant tree. It was kind of a different take on the giant tree because you know dark oak trees are kind of like not super tall. They're more like closer to the ground, kind of stubbier trees. So I kind of did that with this too, and there is an area to put a beacon under it. I just simply only own one beacon. And so I can't really have both of them activated at the same time. But eventually I will have another beacon. I'm working on that again. Um, I've actually had like 3 nether stars, but there was a great explosion at my base at one point, and it destroyed one of my nether stars, so I kind of lost it. But this right here, eventually this will be predominantly where some of these farmer villagers will be that I can buy golden carrots and stuff like that from. They might eventually actually get moved down to the agriculture district once I'm 100% sure it's safe down there for them. But right now we also have all of our blacksmith villagers in here because that's my predominant way of getting emeralds is the iron to emeralds. See right here, ironing gets to emeralds. It's just the main way I get emeralds because I have so much iron from my farm, and so I kind of need them to be safe. But eventually there'll be like a blacksmith area. It'll probably be down near the agriculture to the left of our pathway that we walked down earlier. It'll just kind of be like a little blacksmith area where I can do my iron conversions and stuff like that. I just have to make sure it's this area right here probably. I just have to make sure that I light it up and keep it super safe so that our villagers aren't in any danger because, well, we need them. And so that is this portion. We have 2 more builds in Alaris that I'm super proud of. There's a rainbow in the sky. I have never seen that. That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Fantastic. So, the last kind of section here is right here. This is our fountain. This is our waystone. This is how we get to and from here pretty quickly to spawn or to any other people's bases that have waystones. It's just a super handy, super useful way to teleport anywhere we need to across the server. But this is actually going to be a fountain. It used to be over there, and actually if you break, you can see there's a little weird circle of moss. If you break this, you will fall straight down into a hole. It's a lit up hole, so nothing will spawn inside of it. But I needed to move it in front of this. This originally was going to be my house. And I do love it. It's a fantastic build. It's an okay build. It's not my favorite thing that I've built, but it is actually, I think, going to turn into kind of like a cathedral kind of vibes for it. You can see it's still decorated on the inside. I can show you guys what I've done on the inside for it. It is decorated like a house right now. I haven't finished it. I've only done 2 rooms, but I think I'm going to kind of convert it into more of a cathedral type of building, simply because this right here, these giant stained glass, if we walk up here, there's absolutely nothing done. I've kind of sectioned off all the rooms, but I haven't really done anything for them yet. So really I'd only be losing these 2 rooms down here. Now these 2 rooms would take me literally forever to do, and I love the way they look. But I'm also thinking that I'm not sure I really want, see, like this took me forever because each of these spoons is a different armor stand. And I hate armor stands. Actually, I love doing armor stands, but I think I'm going to kind of redo this so it's more of the cathedral type of vibe. And I'll build my house somewhere different, and it'll be kind of more chill than this. This is a little big for a house. Now, I am the Lord of Alaris, so I am the person that kind of protects and takes care of this place. The heir apparent, I think is what I originally said, of the crown of Alaris. But the kind of this idea that like I'm more so like somebody who cares for this area and loves his people and that kind of stuff is kind of the vibe I'm going for. This right over here is a cute little stable that I built using the new shelf blocks when they first came out. I think it looks adorable. I think I need to do a little bit of detailing. This is all a little too plain for me. It needs something. But I have all of my good little pets in here. I have Jack and Frank. And then this is Maximus. And then I need to move my other llamas in here. I'm currently collecting llamas because they're adorable, and that's the only reason I need it. And then finally, right over here, this is our goodest boy, Blinky. He's super helpful in moving stuff around and building in a lot of these areas where it's difficult to build. So thank you guys for catching this video. I can't wait to see you guys again next week for another awesome video. Bye.